I'm Mark.
And I'm Josh.
And this is Alter Ego Comics TV for the week of August 19th, 2015. It's another week in a comic shop. What's not to love? I'm running out of catchy things to say at the beginning of each episode. 200 and some odd episodes in.
They were never catchy, Mark.
I know. Well, then you come up with the catchy intros. Go.
No, you already did it for this
Nothing. One. Okay. Let's get right to it. My pick of the week is Star Wars number 8, written by Jason Aaron, and this is the first issue by new regular series penciler Stuart Immonen. And my lord in heaven, is the artwork in this something to behold. It is. I cannot say enough good things about Immonen's artwork in this issue. I was tweeting and posting on Instagram last night after I read it, saying that it was jaw-droppingly awesome, and it truly is. You have to pick it up and check it out to see for yourself. On top of that, Jason Aaron's story continues to be one of the best comics, not just Star Wars comics, but one of the best comics being published right now. We get some more insight, maybe, into Han Solo's possible wife.
Theoretically.
Yes. We see Luke and R2 going off on an adventure to learn more about the Jedi, and we meet some new characters, and we get some dialogue from TIE fighter pilots, which almost never happens. This is so good, folks. If you are a Star Wars fan, I implore you to read this. I think we still have all 8 issues in stock, various printings on the earlier issues. But the trade will be out soon, and this should be on everyone's Christmas list this year, because it is so cool, especially with a new Star Wars movie coming out in December. Any thoughts? Any comments?
It was great. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
First up for me this week, we've got Superman Wonder Woman number 20. This is still part of the Truth storyline, and I like that in this book, at least, Superman, I don't want to say is fighting back, but Superman is not being idle and allowing things to happen to him. He's getting proactive. At the end of the last issue, he infiltrated the White House to talk to the president, presuming that is the person with the most power in the country. And this follows that storyline. But we also see another storyline where Wonder Woman is doing her part to help solve Superman's identity issues and the problems he's having, specifically essentially the abduction of Smallville and everyone that Clark cares about from the planet and whatnot. And it's really good. It's seeing the way they approach problems differently. The way this Superman interacts with the president is different from the way we've seen Superman interacting with authority figures in the past, which was really fun. And of course, there's also some fighting in there. Random supervillain shows up for fighting, and it was just great. This continues to be one of the best Superman stories in recent memory.
And by that, we mean across all of the Superman titles.
Yes, the story as a whole, which is, I think, another thing that they should be applauded for, is having 4 different Superman titles, or 4 books in which Superman appears, and all of them keeping kind of a cohesive story, a similar tone, similar characterizations.
But each telling their own story.
Right, each one is self-contained. You could read any one without reading the others. But if you like one of them, you would probably enjoy the others as well.
So, congratulations, DC, on doing something good.
Good on you guys.
Last week was a great DC week.
It's true.
Next up for me is the continuation of Book of Death from Valiant Comics. This is issue number 2 of 4, written by Robert Venditti, artwork by Robert Gill and Doug Braithwaite. And first off, let's talk about the presentation again. The cover stock on this book is about 100 times better than what Marvel has on their cover stock right now. This is just a really good story. Whether you're a fan of the Valiant characters or not, everything you need to know is you're brought up to speed within the first couple pages of the issue. Also, issue number 1 would be a great jumping on point. We still have copies of that available. The Book of Death has really rekindled my interest in Valiant Comics. I was telling Josh the other day, I'm going back and I'm rereading X-O Manowar from the beginning. Also written by Robert Venditti. And, let's point out something here, that he has written 39 consecutive issues of X-O Manowar. So we talk about creative teams changing all the time and the tone of books changing all the time. And Valiant has been very consistent with their creative teams and with the tone of their stories. The only downside, I would say, is that some of them have started and stopped a little too frequently for my taste. Things like Archer and Armstrong and Quantum and Woody. And maybe that's because there were stories that they had kind of wrapped up and they moved on to something else. But I would prefer...
Well, and both those books have a strong humor element.
Yeah,
and humor does tend more towards episodic stories. But
I applaud, a book like Exo Man of War, even though we're not talking about that. He's one of the main characters in Book of Death, going for nearly 4 years with the same writer on the book and the same character wearing the armor. So that's really cool. So Book of Death is a great something new for those of you that are looking for something outside of the mainstream. Almost feels like the Valiant stuff almost feels like it's creator owned. So do with that what you will. And those of you that did pick up Book of Death #1, I hope you liked it, and we'll continue with it.
Yeah, and this one I especially liked because at the end of the last issue, we essentially had heroes in conflict with each other, and this is the resolution of that. If you like books like Deathstroke, if you like characters like Batman, the story in this issue is super great. Basically, it's one hero going up against a squad of three
in a robot.
People who are as powerful or more powerful than he is, and being smart, and it's just awesome. One of my favorite fight scenes this week, absolutely.
Yeah, no, it was great.
Let's see, we've got House of M #1 from Marvel. This is written by Dennis Hopeless with art by Marco Fialala. So, if you're not familiar with House of M, you should be. You should go read the original graphic novel right now because it's one of the best modern Marvel stories. But essentially, just like all the other Secret Wars books, this pulls us into one little chunk of Battle World that is similar to that universe. Essentially, Magneto is king, mutants are the dominant species, humans are subjugated, borderline discriminated against. It's actually not even borderline. And you've got, Wolverine running a team for S.H.I.E.L.D. Is he director of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Or he's a high ranking at S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't remember if he's actually the director or not. But you've got them, a bunch of familiar faces, generally with a mutant gene. But I really like the way this particular story focused on some of the non-mutant people. How do heroes who are normal humans or modified humans react to a world that's essentially run against them? I mean, they're essentially second-class citizens. So you get, Luke Cage, Hawkeye, Black Cat, a number of your more human-based heroes. And I was very happy with the family dynamic we saw here. Magneto's relationship with his children varies widely depending on when it is, even from reality to reality. And the overarching story, I guess, or the bad guy, not bad guy, but the antagonist in the story was not who I expected it to be, and I was really happy with the way Hopeless put it together.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. One of the common threads, and maybe this was there all the time and I just didn't realize it, now having read things like Years of Future Past and Spider Island and House of M, these are basically, you have a pocket of resistance fighters going up against the status quo, which is not the same as it currently is in the Marvel Universe. Right. So, and if you like that sort of thing, that's what you're going to find in a lot of these. And we actually had a customer in the shop yesterday who was talking about What If, and he was looking for some What If stuff, and there hasn't been a What If series in quite a while, and when they do them, they're usually one-shots that honestly aren't that good. But all of these Secret Wars books could be considered What Ifs, in my.
There is another slate of What Ifs coming out in a couple months, some of which sound very cool, particularly the Norman Osborn Green Goblin gets a hold of the Infinity Gauntlet.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, Joshua Williamson is writing all of those.
He is writing all of them,
so
and we love Williamson stuff.
We love Wash Williamson and Josh Williamson, so we're looking forward to those. Yeah. Next up for me, and it just seems like same song, different week, Justice League #43, Jeff Johns and Jason Fabok. It's just so good. The Dark Side War, I am really digging it. And admittedly, I think a big reason for that is Fabok's artwork. Mm-hmm. It's so good. It's very Jim Lee-esque, but has its own twist as well. I think Jeff Johns is only writing Justice League right now, right?
I believe so. I mean, he's still creative director or whatever.
Arguably, one of DC's best writers is writing one book, and it's this book, so you should read it. But he's been writing DC Comics characters for so long that he really knows their voices. And in reading this, I don't feel like I'm reading New 52 versions of the Justice League. I feel like I'm reading classic versions of these characters as they've evolved over time. Batman is very authoritative in this. There is a familiarity between Hal Jordan and Batman in this that doesn't feel like it's a New 52 type of thing. It feels like it's been around for a long time. We get some interesting scenes between Superman and Lex Luthor on Apocalypse. Just really, really good stuff. Justice League has been from the beginning of the New 52 launch, even though we've now dropped the New 52. The
Right.
beginning of what happened 5 years ago. Justice League has been a standout from the beginning, and it continues to be for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm wondering if Jeff Johns had recently watched Superman 4 before he did this.
I hope not. Why would anyone watch Superman 4?
That's a great question also.
Why?
Last up for me this week is my pick of the week, actually. 1872 from Marvel, written by Jerry Dugan, with art by someone Varela.
Vampirella.
Vampirella does the art. It's quite good art for a vampire.
It's not going to be in the middle of the book.
Sometimes it is.
There you go.
There we go. Nick Virella. Yes. And this continues the story of the town of Timely, which is basically just the whole Marvel Universe crammed into one Old West town. And it's so fun, so flavorful. There's a lot of neat character moments. In this one, we get to see some flashbacks before and after. So we see, why Tony Stark is a drunk in this universe, what drove him to the bottle. We continue the saga of, is it Red Wolf?
Yes.
Yes, Red Wolf, who's being oppressed by the Kingpin, mayor of the town. I'm sorry, Richard Fisk. Sorry.
Wilson
Fisk. Richard Fisk is from Ally McBeal.
I'll take your word for it.
Greg Germain's character.
Yes.
Yes. But it's just so much fun. And actually, I was surprised. One of the hallmarks of a Western is that life is cheap. And in this, issue, we see a beloved Marvel character basically murdered and left to be devoured by animals.
It's pretty disturbing,
right? Because the book it feels kind of old timey, and you feel like people should be wearing corsets, and then they just straight out kill people. And the juxtaposition was cool. I was totally not expecting that to go that way. But if you're liking 1872, there are plenty of places to check it out this week. The town of Timely features prominently in this week's Runaway issue, which was also good. The Runaways go to Timely. And also in Marvel Zombies versus Age of Ultron, or Age of Ultron versus Marvel Zombies, one of the main characters is Hank Pym from Timely, and we also get more on the Janet Van Dyne, the Wasp, from Timely. And it's just great. I like this universe. I like this interpretation of the characters, and I was happy to see it all over the place this week in Marvel Comics.
Yeah, I second that. This was just an amazing second issue. The first issue was really strong as well. I would keep reading an 1872 series for quite a while, and I'm curious to see what happens at the end of Secret Wars, whether we get any holdovers from the 1872 universe. Really, really good.
Well, there's isn't Red Wolf on the picture of the posters?
Oh yeah, Red Wolf is.
And now we don't know if it's this Red Wolf, but
yeah. And I guess that's all right. I like Red Wolf, but I like the
right.
I like the more recognizable Marvel characters and the way they're being portrayed in this Western town. So too enthusiastic stealing a Siskel and Ebert thing from us, or from them. Thumbs up from Ebert and Siskel, or whichever way you want to go here.
You can be Roper.
I will be Roper. Where is Richard Roper? Is he still doing something? So thank you for all of the comments that we got last week about the Fantastic Four movie. It kind of shook out the way that we've seen it in the shop and on our Facebook page, that there are lots of you who actually think it's an okay movie, but there are an equal number of you that think it's absolutely horrible. I still haven't seen it. I'm going to wait for it to be on Blu-ray, and we'll check it out at that time. So this week I have a question, and that would be, it's kind of a two-part question. Number one, do you use the previews catalog? Do you look at the massive 500, 600-page catalog that comes out once a month, full of comics and collectibles, T-shirts, tchotchkes, all kinds of stuff that will be shipping in approximately 2 months? And if you do use it, well, I guess this is the second part of the question, do you actually put things on hold at your local comic shop? And if that's alter ego, do you reserve things in advance so that we know to order them for you? This whole industry is built on pre-orders, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. So I'm kind of curious to see what you folks are doing, and whether you're actually pre-ordering stuff, or whether you go to your local shop once a week or once a month and just hope that what you're looking for is on the shelves. The little asterisk there is that pre-ordering is the only way to guarantee that what you're looking for is actually waiting for you when you show up at the shop. So, do you? Do you not? Inquiring minds want to know. or at least we do. As always, if you liked this week's episode, please give us a thumbs up over there on the screen. We appreciate it. And, finally, if you haven't seen it already, if you subscribe to the channel, you probably did, but we finally put up a store tour video after several requests from lots of different people. So check that out, and if you enjoy that, let us know in the comments for that video.
Aren't any minds that are inquiring, isn't any mind that
Thanks
wants
for
to know
watching.
inherently inquiring? If you want to know, that's like inquiring.
Yes, the only reason that's in my head is seeing commercials for the National Enquirer growing up, and it was inquiring minds want to know.
Right, it was their tagline.
Yeah. So it's ingrained. It's just like Oscar Mayer wieners and inquiry minds want to know, and don't squeeze the Charmin, and all the all of the taglines. Where's the beef that are ingrained in my mind, being a child of the 70s and 80s.
I don't know my sister's birthday, but I can sing the whole Oscar Mayer wiener song.
Stay after the credits for Josh singing the Oscar Mayer wiener song. See you next week.